Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Brian from BG90 Day. What I'd like to do now is get into a little bit longer type of video having to do with nutrition. All right, so what I'm trying to do in this video is not go super in depth on any one nutritional topic, but if I were to give like a presentation that we had to last like 30 minutes or less, what are the topics that I would cover? Okay, what's the most succinct path? Like, hey, I got 30 minutes. Tell me what I got to do if I want to get healthier. Most likely, there's normally a weight loss goal involved. So that's kind of how I want to approach this video. Hopefully, this is kind of easy to digest, pardon the pun. Um, and I think that would be hopefully beneficial for a lot of people. Okay, so all right, so let's just kind of get right into it. All right, so let's say I'm not the healthiest. I want to lose weight. I don't know what to do. I hear a bunch of things out there on social media, on YouTube, um, from my sister-in-law, whatever. All right, I want to know just what do I got to do? Just give it to me. I don't have a lot of time. Let's do it. Okay, so here would be like my beginning of my nutritional philosophy. What's the most important thing we got to do? I would say eat as we used to eat as human beings. Okay, so all right, well, what does that kind of mean? We want to. You've probably heard this one before. We want to eat whole foods. Okay, so I like to use the terms of if it ran, swam, flew, if it came out of the ground or off a tree, it's probably going to be okay. Okay, uh, a good like rule of thumb to kind of go along with that, the less packaging that it has like from the store, the better off you're going to be. Okay, that's another good rule of thumb, I think. Now, that being said, we are presented with some challenges, okay, more now so than perhaps in the past. In the past, like 1,000 years ago, think of it, you had to like go get your own food. You were on your own. Okay, now food is very plentiful, but I feel like the quality is much less than maybe it was 50, 60, 70 years ago. Okay, so that really is my number one thing. When I'm trying to find something to eat, the first thing I think about is what is the quality of this? Not even necessarily what it is. Like, sure, that's definitely part of it, but what is the quality of it? If I'm eating chicken, okay, I want to try to opt for high quality chicken as much as possible. Okay. Um, I think that's the name of the game. People that think that like, hey, it's not organic. If it's not organic, or if it is organic, it doesn't really matter. A chicken's chicken. Okay, disagree. All right, I don't believe that is the case. Okay, not all broccoli is the same. Okay, not all ground beef is the same. All right, not all fish is the same. Uh, carrots, whatever. Okay, you name it. I want the best of whatever it is that I'm choosing to eat. Okay, as much as possible. Okay, we know we're not going to be 100% on anything. Okay, but that I really think is a very important point. Really try to opt for quality whenever you can. Okay, and then all right, quality of what? What am I eating? Whole foods. Okay, actual like I'm grabbing an apple. Okay, this is an orange. That's a pear. Okay, that is a half pound of lamb. Uh, that's a dozen eggs. Okay, that are pasture raised. Okay, eggs is another one. Okay, it's just that there's a big difference there. And I think a lot of people are just kind of missing the boat on that. And I feel like they're trying, and at times they're just not opting for quality, maybe as much as they should, and therefore are not getting the results maybe as fast or really at all. So I think those 2 points together, I think are really important. Okay. Um, Opt for quality, and then what are we eating? Whole foods. Okay. So an avocado, not mac and cheese. Okay. Mac and cheese, it's got a lot of packaging. All right, that's not a whole food. All right, throw that in the garbage and go get something that actually has some type of nutritional value to it. Okay, so that's where I would start. Okay, all right, so Now let's kind of stick with the weight loss thing. All right. What do we hear about, on the internet, social media, etc., that a lot of people like to talk about, many people like to argue about? Calories, or you'll get some people that say calories don't matter all that much. And then you get other people that are making these like YouTube shorts and whatnot about like fast food hacks and like, hey, you can eat whatever you want as long as you're under your calories. It's like, okay, that might work to some degree, but what's the point of losing weight if you're becoming unhealthy while you do it? All right, you can starve yourself and do cocaine and run up hills. You'll lose weight. I don't think that's the way you want to do it, though. If I had to guess, okay, that's probably not gonna. If you continue doing that, you're probably not going to live a long, fruitful life. I think it's kind of the same thing there. If you're eating low quality food, okay, is it, and you're controlling your calories, is it possible to lose weight? Yeah, I think it makes a lot more sense though. Look, if you're trying to make some changes, let's make the changes like one time. Like, why do we want to keep doing this? Okay. Or why do we want to trade one problem in for another? Okay. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me. All right. Look, if we want to get healthy, if we want to lose weight, body composition, whatever your, some of your goals are, all right, that's fine. Let's try to do it the right way, get on track with it, and then you just continue to do that the rest of your life. All right, that would make a lot more sense to me in terms of like how to actually do things. So where do I fall on calories, tracking food, these sorts of things? I think calories matter. It's not the only thing, however. Okay. I'm not the guy that's going to say, oh, yeah, you can go to Burger King and eat pizza 4 days a week as long as you're under your calories. Uh, you can try. It might work for a period of time, but I can tell you, you're going to probably hit a plateau fairly soon. And I don't know how sustainable that is. Not only that, I would say, in my opinion, most importantly, I don't think that's setting you up for the longevity side of things, which I think is definitely most likely a piece to anyone's goal. Um, I also like to think of it this way. Should we track calories? I think it's a good idea. I'm not someone that thinks you have to track calories the rest of your life, though. Do it for a week, maybe, would normally be kind of where I fall when I start working with someone. That's normally what I recommend, because a lot of times people, they can't even quantify what like 2,000 calories is. If you tell them, okay, we're going to set your protein goal at 140 grams, you're just saying numbers. Like it could be 1,000 grams of protein. They may not know the difference. They don't know what does that actually look like. Okay. So I try to talk about food as much as possible, as opposed to just like spreadsheets and apps. And I think it's a good idea to do that. Like I said, just to get an idea of what it actually entails, what it looks like. But I like to try to focus on the habits. Okay. And I can tell you, if your calories are too high, if that is the reason you're simply just eating too much, and this is not the case for everyone, okay? But for some people, they're simply eating too many calories, okay? And they're getting there because they're eating the wrong foods. Okay, so I think the first place you want to start was, like we said earlier, was let's start eating the right foods. Okay, whole foods, eat real food. All right, that is the reason that we have this like obesity problem, is that it's not everyone is just eating nonstop all day. Are there some people to do that? I'm sure there are. Okay, I would say a majority of people though are extremely sedentary. If you look at like how most jobs are like in front of a computer now. So people aren't moving their bodies very much, and food is very easy to get. Okay, is it high quality food? No. Is it affordable? Yeah. Does it taste good? Yeah, they've modified it so that they make sure that it definitely tastes good. And I think some people are lazy. So you're eating low quality food, which is the wrong food, and it's extremely high in calories. low in nutrients, it makes you want to eat more. Okay, that's your problem. Okay, so the calories would almost kind of solve themselves if we were eating the food, the right food. Okay, I don't know that we have too many people that are maybe eating 5 meals a day, and hey, all they had to do was eat 3 meals. I think they're eating 5 meals a day because they're eating the wrong food. All right. So, like I said, let's start with the whole foods. If you're eating the right stuff, the calories are probably going to sort themselves out. Think about it. Have you heard anyone ever say, I gained these 20 pounds because I'm eating apples like crazy. Like I just ate like 10 apples yesterday. The day before, I ate 11 apples. No one has ever said that in the history of the world. Okay. That's kind of my point here is that you're going from drive through to drive through and you're ordering pizza 4 nights a week. Okay. That's most likely your problem. Okay. Super high in calories, super low in nutrients. The satiation levels are also very low. So you're eating foods that are basically just making you hungrier, and we're developing bad habits, and we're kind of continuing along with that. And over a period of time, you're going to notice you're packing on a ton of weight. Okay, so should you track your food? It might be a good idea. I wouldn't say though, just you have to do that for forever. The next common question that is normally asked, okay, well then how much should I eat? And that normally depends on kind of where you're at and where you want to get to. So like a good rule of thumb would be, okay, I want to get, let's say you're 240 pounds and you want to get down to 2000 or 200 pounds. Okay, how many calories should I eat? Well, part of that would be dependent on how many calories are you currently eating? Because one common mistake is people may be eating 3,600 calories. Their body burns maybe 2,600 calories, and they go from, so therefore they're not in any type of deficit. They're in a pretty significant surplus, and they're not using those calories to, for strength training. So they're just gaining an inordinate amount of body fat over time. So what did they do? They go from 3,600 down to like maybe 1,000, and they say, "Hey, I'm in that caloric deficit now," and that's just one of the most common mistakes, I would say. You're basically telling your body to hold on to the body fat then. Okay, so you may lose a little bit of weight doing that, but I think if you did that over a prolonged period of time, what you're going to find is you're going to hit a plateau pretty soon. You're not going to feel any better, and you're kind of skinny fat without being skinny. So you're not adding any good weight. You're just maybe losing a, a little bit of weight, but not, and you're not changing your composition. You're not really getting healthier. Okay. You could go from 240 to 235 doing that pretty easily. Uh, could you get down to 200 doing that? Probably not. And it would certainly not be sustainable. Okay. So a better idea is a better rule of thumb times your goal weight by 10 or 12. Okay. So for example, 240 down to 200. Don't go from maybe eating 3,600 calories down to 1,200. Better option. Let's try to get it between like 2,000 and 2,400. And we would want to definitely be prioritizing our protein. Okay. Which is something we normally don't do. We prioritize carbs, sugar, a lot of processed food, and the protein that we're getting is probably not super high quality. Therefore, we're always hungry, and that's why we're eating 3,600 calories. All right, so better situation, higher quality food, correct amount of calories, prioritize the protein in every meal, and we should be able to eventually get ourselves on a path um, that's sustainable and will hopefully get you to your goal. Okay. Now, speaking along those same lines, here's another thing that I think pretty much no one ever does because I don't hear people talking about this. They'll talk about calories. You'll get other people that love to talk about the hormones, which I think hormones are definitely real. If, for example, if your thyroid's not functioning properly, if you know you're already insulin resistant, you can go caloric deficit all you want. You're not losing much at all. You're not going to lose weight. Okay, so if you think, I think calories definitely matter. Okay, but I think hormones definitely matter as well. Okay, so people love to talk about those things. Okay, they normally fail to mention what is like an actual framework for success. Like, what if I'm a person that's trying to lose weight, I'm trying to get my nutrition in check? Okay, like how many meals should I eat? Because if you look back maybe 10 years ago, there was a lot of, hey, you should eat 6 meals a day stuff going on out there. And now I think we've swung the other way where we get the people that say, oh, you should maybe only eat 1 meal a day, or you have to do fasting. And it's like, look, I like fasting. I'm actually in the middle of a fairly extensive fast right as we speak. Okay, but what are you going to do regularly 80% of the time? I think we kind of had it right quite a while ago. 3 meals a day is okay. Okay, 3 meals a day will work, and I think that's sustainable for most people. I don't think many people talk about that or do that anymore. Okay, now if 3 meals a day doesn't work for you, that's fine, but actually set your framework for how many meals you're going to eat each day. Okay, are you going to be two meal a day guy? Okay, I'm going to eat once around like late morning, and I'm going to like eat when I get home from work. I'm going to eat 2 meals a day. I'm going to load them up with tons of nutrients, tons of vitamins, minerals, protein, etc., healthy fats, all that stuff. That's how I'm going to do it. That because I don't have a lot of time to cook. I'm out. Okay, fine. Do whatever works for you. But the most important thing is have a plan. Okay, I don't think anyone ever talks about that. They just think, I think that we focus on calories, we focus on macronutrients, and then we're just like punching things into an app all day. And we're eating different things throughout the course of the week. So it's like, all right, how long are you going to sit there on your phone and punch that stuff in? Like, I don't think you're going to do that the rest of your life. I think it makes a lot more sense to, like I said, maybe do that for a period of time, just get an idea of about, okay, what is 2000 calories? What do I have to do to get there? Okay, but we in the end, we want to rely on our habits. So are we going to eat 1 meal a day, 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day, and a snack? Okay, then you can start figuring out, all right, now what are these 3 meals and snack going to be comprised of? You can start actually planning it out. All right, doing it the other way, thinking about just like, I got to get 2,400 calories and I got to get 180 grams of protein. It's like, I don't know that you're setting yourself up for long term success just when you're thinking in those terms. All right, so I would think of it a little bit differently. It's fine to have those goals. That's great. Okay, but you're not, unless you're just eating 1 meal a day, that doesn't, I don't know how much that helps you. Okay, because in the end, we want to be able to get there consistently. Okay, so I think when we break it down into like those separate meals and then maybe a snack, a supplement, whatever you're doing, I think no one really tends to talk about that, and that's not part of their plan. We don't want to be just like grazing on things all day long and not really teaching ourselves how to actually get to those goals. Okay, so I think breaking it down into however many meals you want to do, have a framework, and then start executing that framework. And I think that is a much better way to set yourself up. Okay, so like if you're 2000 calories and you need 120 grams of protein, let's say, it's not that tough. Right, I can do 1 meal, 1,000 calories. It's got to have 60 grams of protein in there, and I got to do the same thing later at night when I get home from work. All right, fine, that can work. Okay, if you're doing 3 meals, okay, what do those 3 meals look like? I'm looking for about this much at breakfast, 500 calories, 40 grams of protein, low carb. Okay, smooth. All right. But if we don't even have the framework, I think it's going to be tough. Okay. So have some type of set framework, have a plan on how you're going to hit those other goals. Okay. I think that makes a lot of sense and can potentially be very helpful for you when you're trying to get to that ultimate goal. Okay. Some other important habits that I think are definitely worth implementing. I think people have started looking at labels. Okay, that's super important. So I think it goes a lot further though than just telling people to read labels. And then when people read labels, I feel like they go just go. We said prioritize protein, right? They go straight to they want to see how many carbs because low carb means everything, and they go straight to the protein because the person they're working with or they know protein's important, so they look at the protein, and they'll eat anything that satisfies those requirements. What's the other main thing? Point of emphasis. What is normally calories? So those are the three things they're looking at, and you should look at those things. Okay, but what do I think is way more important than that is the ingredients. Okay, and once again, that's just going to come back to the quality. Okay, and I think when you start really looking at ingredients on just about everything, you're going to be surprised at what you find in there. And then you'll start to hopefully come around to my side of it, and you'll start to see the quality of food. It's not there. It is. There's a reason we have the problems that we do in society with people just being pretty unhealthy. It's because it's it's not easy to eat healthy. It's hard to actually find healthy food sometimes. Okay, that's gonna not only get you to a healthy weight, but keep you there without destroying like your gut biome and doing all those other things that we want food to be able to do. Help us live that long, healthy life. Uh, what? All right. So, what are some things that you think I might be talking about? Okay. There's things that we want to have, but there's also things we don't want to have. Okay. And the things we don't want to have, they're showing up in everything. Okay, so it's harder than just saying, "Hey, look, I'm not going to eat fast food. I used to eat fast food all the time. I'm not going to eat fast food." Okay, hey, look, if you want to start with that, that's a great plan. I know that's something I did when I began my journey years ago, and just by doing that alone, that will get you some success. Okay, however, it's I don't know that it's going to get you all the way to your goal. Okay, especially if you have, maybe aggressive goals, which is fine. Um, the seed oils, it's unbelievable. I mean, what these things are in, they are in everything. Okay, so it's like I said, it's food is easy to find, but to find like good food, it's not as easy as you think. Okay, stuff that you wouldn't think that this stuff would be in, oh, it's in there. It's in there. Okay. I'll give you one of my favorite examples, something that I've been noticing lately. One of my main carb sources throughout the course of the week is tortillas. I love tortillas, corn tortillas, flour tortillas, uh, almond flour. I love tortillas. Okay. Now, the problem is that there are some not so great ingredients in these things. They are becoming really hard to find. I kind of prefer flour ones. I've been eating more corn. I kind of have a problem with corn because I think a lot of the corn is just like GMO City. However, I think good corn ones are a lot easier to find than the good flour ones because the flour ones, they all have seed oil in there. It's unbelievable. Why do you need seed oil in a tortilla? And normally the answer is it's because the company makes more money. That oil is not very expensive, and that's the thing. You just got to kind of think of it from these companies' point of view. They're trying to make money. They're not here to get you healthy. They're here to, like I said, they're there to make money. They're giving you a product that's hopefully going to fill you up, that you'll like, that you'll keep buying. So, do they want it to taste good? Yeah. Do they care about your health? Nah, I really don't think they do. I think they care about the profits. Uh, so, I actually I knew most of these because they are so prevalent, but I actually did have to look up the eight of them. These things are poison. So it's hard to cut these things out of your life like 100%. But I'm telling you, you will stay inflamed and not feel the best if these things are constantly in your diet because they have a way of just staying in your body. Your liver is just going to store them for a long time. Okay. And our liver's got enough things to do. Let's try to give our liver a break. All right. Seed oils, canola oil. All right. So, French fries, what do you think those are made in? Normally canola oil. Okay. Is it a little bit? No, 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 no. They're submerging them in this poisonous oil. It's like a it's like a bomb for your cells. Like it's just your cells don't even know what to do with this. It's just inflammation city. Okay, so I really I can't remember the last time I ate French fries. Like just because I know now, I didn't know this 20 years ago, but I know it now that look that stuff's poison. Canola oil, corn oil, cottonseed oil. I found cottonseed oil in canned fish. Why in the world do we need this stuff was clean in the cotton gin 100 years ago? I need that, somewhat healthy fish is now super unhealthy. And I can tell you, my body can tell the difference. I got fooled once. I was at a different type of store. I was like sardines or oysters or something that I normally eat. But I was at a different store. Oh, I'm like, oh, these are on sale. I grabbed those. Came home, ate one. I'm like, can I looked at the can, cottonseed oil. I actually went and returned like the other two or three tins that I had. Because I'm like, get it out of here. Uh, so that comes back to reading those ingredient labels. I would never have thought that cottonseed oil would be in a canned fish product. Grapeseed oil is also another one. You'll find this one out in restaurants at times because it has a very high smoke point. Grapeseed oil is probably going to be a lot cheaper than like organic avocado oil. So that's another thing you got to stay away from. The molecular like structure of this is apparently very similar to gasoline. If that doesn't tell you something right there, then I don't know what will. Uh, some other very popular ones: safflower oil and sunflower oil. If you eat any type of nuts or anything that might be labeled organic, that's in some type of package, but maybe you're like, oh, this will be okay, like cashews, almonds. Like, hey, I heard these are healthy, these are good. Yeah, generally speaking, they are. You got to read those ingredients, okay? And I don't care how many carbs are in there, okay? If I'm eating cashews, I know there's going to be some carbs in it. I don't care all that much whether it's 14 grams or 17 grams or 3 grams of fiber or 2 grams. I don't care all that much about that. I kind of already know that ahead of time. I care, is there any seed oil in there? Sunflower oil, I don't need it. I don't need it. Think about how many sunflowers you got to destroy to get an oil out of. Like, and then think about how high that's got to be heated. Like that, just it can't be good for you. Soy oil is another one. Rice bran oil, I don't see those quite as much. I would say the big ones would be like canola, corn oil, grapeseed oil, safflower, and sunflower. Those are probably the most common. Okay, let's stay away from that stuff as much as possible. Kind of along those same lines, um, I think most people know this one. Like sugar, obviously, is a big problem. Okay, but like the sugar that we're kind of eating now, I it's worse than just like regular sugar, as our body doesn't really know how to process this high fructose corn syrup. Okay, that's like think about it. Sugar's bad enough as it is. Your body, you really only need so much sugar. Okay, but when you're eating enormous amounts of processed sugar, which is basically what high fructose corn syrup is. Any type of fructose, we know it's going straight to the liver. Okay, that's how it's going to get broken down. We're just overloading the liver with everything when we're not eating correctly. Okay, so these are the things that I think are a lot more important than going on the internet and fighting about caloric deficit with people that don't even know what they're talking about anyway. Uh, Focus on what you're eating, read those labels, opt for quality. These are things that I think are a lot more important. Okay, hence our video here. So if we can stay away from that stuff, try to get as much of the good stuff as possible, being those whole foods. Think about it. You buy an organic bag of carrots, you look at the ingredient level or what's in the ingredients on the bag of carrots. What's it going to say? Organic carrots. Bingo. That's what we want. I just want the carrots. I don't need extra poison with them. Okay. I don't need any additives, preservatives. I know when I buy the carrots, look, there's an expiration date. These things are only going to last so long. That's fine. I don't need to buy 6 bags. I'll buy 1 bag. I'll eat those. I'll go buy more later. Okay. I think that's a much better way to approach things. Um, Another thing that I think is a good habit to get into, I think starting it, how you go about it, I think does matter. We've kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, is fasting. Okay, so if you know you are insulin resistant, for example, okay, fasting is one of the best ways to start correcting that. Okay, just plain and simple. You need to kind of retrain your body, you need to optimize your hormones, doing the eat 6 meals a day and look at the back of the FDA, the ingredient label. We're basing this on 2,000 calories, and we need 300 grams of carbs. Okay, I don't think you do. Uh, Fasting, I think, is fine. All right. It's now that being said, there's several different protocols. If you have no experience with this, do not go right into like a 48-hour fast. Okay, that if your body's not fat adapted, it's it's like literally gonna kind of hurt. So work your way up to that, just kind of like with anything you would do. If you were starting like a strength training program, do you just throw 3 plates on the trap bar and say, let's see how many times I can get this? Have you done that before? Yeah, back in high school 20 years ago. You're going to get hurt, dude. All right, well, what are you doing? Okay, well, kind of the same thing with fasting. Like, if you're someone that eats 4 or 5 meals a day and you've been doing that for 15 years, and now you're saying, hey, I'm not going to just going to not eat for 2 days. I mean, you'll live to tell about it, but it might not be the most pleasant experience. Okay, so what I normally tell people is let's start off, let's just push breakfast back a few hours. Okay, let's say you finished eating at 8 o'clock. Uh, you want to sleep at 10, you get maybe 7 hours, you wake up at 5 or 6, and you normally eat at 7. Just let's try to push that back a few hours. Okay, so you're probably only maybe doing like a 10 or 11 hour fast. Let's push it back to 14. Let's do that a few times throughout the course of the week. Okay, and then maybe let's get into more traditional like 16/8. Okay, where you're going to eat for, you'll have that 8 hour feeding window and you're fasting for 16. Okay, doing that 2 to 3 times a week, I think that's a great way to start. And then you can eventually, build up to maybe only 1 meal a day towards the end of the night. So maybe like an 18 or 20-hour fast. And then you can maybe build up to longer ones after that. Okay, but I think fasting is great. Great, it's a great way to optimize your hormones. Your growth hormone will go up. It's a good way to balance your insulin, your blood sugar, and all that. But I wouldn't go straight to like not eating for 2 or 3 days. Okay, the way I like to do those is I'm not anything that causes a metabolic reaction. Okay, generally that's not really fasting then. Okay, I have some other reasons that I like to fast. I'm not really trying to lose weight. I'm trying to optimize my hormones, and I'm doing it from like a longevity perspective. Okay, so um, now I will, depending on what I was kind of doing that day. And I decide to do maybe a little bit longer fast. I will allow myself certain things, but like, if you're eating, like, if you're like, oh, I'm just not going to eat anything, but like you're eating or drinking stuff with like legitimate calories in it, like that's not really a fast then. Like if you're drinking something that has 100 calories in it, okay, that's enough to cause a metabolic reaction. Okay, so water, obviously, okay. I'd recommend a little salt in there. Um, Flavor like sparkling water, as long as it's 0 calories. So like any type of club soda or seltzer water, I drink a ton of that stuff. As is, when I'm fasting, I'm going to drink even more of it. Green tea, black coffee, these things I think are all fine. I did have I did work out when I started this fast that I'm actually doing right now. So I did allow myself some amino acids. Um, that would technically cause a metabolic reaction, but there's only like 10 calories in there. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm also going to be past the 24 hours anyway, which is when autophagy kind of starts to set in, which is one of the reasons I was doing this particular fast that I'm in currently. So um, I would say definitely consider some fasting, but like I said, I wouldn't get too crazy with it right out of the gate. It's also not something you necessarily need to do every day. Okay, so you can get some results just from doing it 2 to 3 times a week. Okay, and that's just based off peer reviewed research. So don't think that you have to do that every single day. All right, me personally, like I enjoy eating. I kind of like cooking as well. Um, so I'm not necessarily going to do 48-hour fasts every week. It's something maybe I do just a handful of times an entire year. I have other people though that they really like it. I have noticed a very clear head from it. Really, for me, it's not like physically that I need to eat. It's more mentally. Like I said, I do kind of like eating, and I'm in my habits of when I normally eat regularly, and when I'm not eating at those times. Like I said, it's more of like a mental thing for me. I'm opening the refrigerator door and looking in there. I'm like, why am I doing this? It's like, oh, because I normally eat at this time. I'm just not doing that today. So these are the things that I would focus on. These are all topics in my ebook. I've also made more in-depth videos on a lot of this stuff. I wanted to keep this one under 45 minutes. So this is the stuff that I would prioritize if I wanted to make some changes with my nutrition. If I was trying to build up my nutrition plan and get this thing right once and for all, this is how I would do it. Uh, Trying to follow like a super dogmatic approach, like some type of diet, yeah, you can try it. You going to do that for the rest of your life? Like, probably not. Okay, it's like I think that's what a lot of people do. They keto, carnivore, whatever. All right, yeah. Well, could you lose weight doing that stuff? Yeah, you definitely can. Should you have some elements present? Yeah, definitely. Okay. One of my big things is first meal of the day, make it low carb. Okay, I have like a whole video on that in my group. All right, I think that's a great protocol. But just like saying you're going to do keto, okay, that uh, like I said, can definitely work. But are you going to do that the rest of your life? So it's like, all right, so you're going to do keto, you're going to do it for a month. You can get your body fat adapted doing that. Maybe develop some good habits. Maybe find some new foods. All right, but at some point, you're probably going to have a beer. You're probably going to have a glass of wine. You're going to eat pizza again. You're going to have a burrito. Okay, like how are you going to navigate all of that? Okay, so you can do that stuff for a while. Okay, that's fine, but eventually you're gonna have to learn how to eat. That so it's like with me, I'd rather just get right to the point. Let's just get ourselves on a plan from a nutritional standpoint that's going to be able to sustain itself and that's actually going to work for you from like maybe like a weight loss thing, but also from a longevity perspective as well. All right, so I hope this stuff made sense. I hope this is beneficial to you in at least some way, shape, or form. I do have some stuff that I'm working on in terms of like nutrition coaching. I'm also a personal trainer. So I have tons of training options available. If you're looking to find me on social media, at BG90Day tends to be my handle. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook is probably where I spend my most time. And then if you ever need to email me, ask me any questions, coachg1025@gmail.com. All right. So thanks for hanging in there for these 40 minutes or so. And if you ever have any questions, if you ever feel like you need some type of coaching, contact me anytime. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.